GMC, a stunning blend of luxury, performance, and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $759 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $759 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Collins!
Boy, we thought we were going to get a decent Masters. I think we got one of the best Masters we've seen in years. A Masters Monday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt. We got you for the next 2 hours. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And good afternoon on a beautiful Monday right here in South Florida. We're from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Also streaming live on YouTube at ESPN West Palm and on Facebook and Twitter/X. Go check us out there. Well, over the weekend, it was a big sports weekend, but none bigger than the Masters. And it almost got you to be reminded because some Scheffler dominance here and there on a great year. That Masters Sunday, a la Tiger 2019, when there's a story attached, when there's drama, when there's intensity, when there's a lot of gravity to each shot. It is as good as sports gets. It rivals the Super Bowl. It rivals a crucial Game 7. It rivals a national championship. It is that good, and that's what we had yesterday over in Augusta, where Rory McIlroy secured his first ever victory at the 89th Masters over on CBS, and about a 6-minute letting him cry it out. And I give Jim Nantz credit for keeping himself quiet during the actual broadcast. Rory's just walking up and down. And his first major in just about 11 years. Somebody, Rory McIlroy, that is, who has been a golfer who is immensely talented, who is great on tour, who is always in the mix, but has always had that jinx associated with him. A couple, 2023 at the Open, Pinehurst. A couple moments here and there where Rory McIlroy just has a dark cloud, has a monkey on his back. And yesterday, despite how hard Rory tried, was one of those moments where destiny clashes with choking. One of the most bizarre rounds of golf I've ever seen, and one of the great Masters Sundays we've had in a long time. And Rory becoming the 6th golfer ever, the second in the last 50 years. Only him and Tiger since 1966. They've been playing golf since the 1800s. Only the 6th ever, second in the last 50 years to complete the Grand Slam. And that is the 4 majors that Rory has now completed with his Masters victory. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. Mike, Rory yesterday, it was not a match or a round, I should say, of him utter dominating. It was not that dramatic in terms of the sense that this guy's unbeatable. It was more of the opposite. It was, oh my God, this guy's going to blow it. This guy's going to blow it.
Right.
Oh, wait, he's rumbling back. Oh, no, he's going to blow it. Oh, wait, he's coming back. Now he's going to blow it. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. It was like destiny was clashing with being a choke artist. That was what that Masters round was.
And my initial reaction to when it went to overtime is, oh, God, he's not winning now. You know, overtime, the guy who always chokes to go to overtime, he's never the one that wins it. So fair play to Rory for actually going to overtime and winning that. Now, was it more or less Justin Rose blowing it and Rory winning? That's another conversation for another day.
He parred the hole.
But I completely give Rory the credit for blowing it and then recovering in overtime. and being the champ. How about the shots that Rory McIlroy was hitting yesterday, though? Some of those shots were some of the best golf shots I've seen since Tiger Woods. The one out of the woods that put him right there. I mean, Colin, some of the more incredible golf shots I've seen in a long time by Rory McIlroy. What more could you ask for from the Masters yesterday? What more could you ask for in a round? You had the bad guy in Justin Rose. You had poor Bryson DeChambeau. There's always...
I wouldn't call Rose the bad guy.
Well, he called himself he wanted to be the bad guy.
Well, the bad guy in the sense that everybody there wanted Rory to win. I wouldn't call him a bad guy. He was good with Rory. He was good post-match, too, on the interview.
The conversation he had with Rory after, nonetheless, he alluded to was he wanted to be the, congratulations, very happy for you, but I wanted to be the bad guy. I thought that was really cool. And then there's always the guy that blows up, Kyle. And sadly, it was Live Golf and Bryson DeChambeau that completely blew up. I still don't know how that one ball ended up in the water. Still trying to sit here and break that one down. But Bryson was bad. There was the guy that blew up. And I thought the broadcast was great. Now, I do, Colin, I had it on in the background. I had Inter Miami soccer yesterday. So while this stuff was live, I was watching while doing the post game and whatnot. I went back and watched the full thing. The coverage of it. I love that you brought up Nance. Nance is so good in those moments to where he knows when to talk. He knows when to step back and let the moment happen.
Yeah, he was great there.
I thought everything, Kyle, I thought it was the perfect Sunday at the Masters. I can't put my tongue, or rather my eye on the last one that was as good as that one. Let's live in the moment and let's appreciate how great yesterday was.
Well, the one knock I'll give Nance is when Rory was on 18, and he's still playing with DeChambeau at this moment. He needs to par the hole to win. He needs to par the hole. He has a stroke lead on Rose, who's been sitting there at the driving range, keeping the hips warm. He gets that first tee shot. And Rory, who hasn't figured out the driver all day, right down the fairway, excellent drive. All right? And then he's walking down that fairway. They do a little bit of in and out, jumping back and forth between him and Rose. The way Nance is talking, Nance was trying to set up some prestigious moment, and I understand that. But it was like he was fitting the jacket, and we haven't even gotten to the second shot yet. Jim. He still needs 3 more shots here. And it's like he's fitting the jacket. Talking about, the child. He's trying to make a big story out of it. And it made him look bad. Jim, let him do it. And then we could do a little bit of that. Let it become a makeable shot. We're on his second shot. We're still in the fairway. That was his one knock. And then he settled down a little bit because it sounded like Jim wanted that putt more than Rory did at the end of the round on 18. And then once you got to the playoff against Rose, you settled in a little bit because it was 2 excellent shots. You had Rose, a great tee shot with his getting right down the fairway, and then Rory sort of matched it. Another great one. Then Rose had a great second shot to get onto the green within 12, 15 feet, and Rory matched that and got even better. Rose had a good putt, missed it, and he's going to par the hole, and Rory had an opportunity to win it there. It was perfect back and forth action. Now, in some of the shots that Rory had moments, didn't have moments, I mean, he collapsed on 13. This is a guy who had a 4-stroke lead at a certain point, was cruising as he entered the back 9. And then when he has a 3-stroke lead, his third shot on 13, one of the terrible gap wedge shots I've seen, launched one into the water, then he starts to collapse. Then you think, oh, it's Rory.
Here we go.
And when he missed that putt on 18 as well, to bogey the hole and to allow Rose to get into, Justin Rose that is, to get into a playoff, you think this is classic Rory.
I mean, Kyle, that's why I said you never thought that guy was going to win in overtime. Did you think he was going to win? I didn't.
I did.
I did not think he was going to win.
I did.
Christian,
because he followed the whole round. He was bouncing off the lows with highs.
Justin Rose was minus 145 to win when overtime began.
Yeah, and
the betting public didn't think Rory was going to win.
He ran out of holes. And when I was texting my buddy,
10 birdies on the round.
Christian, I was texting my buddies. Thank God for Rory. That guy ran out of holes. I know. What did he bogey? 17. He bogeyed.
Who?
Rose and his
he two-putted on the 17.
He bogeyed 17. Other than that, thank God that guy ran out of holes. I mean, my God, he birdied every friggin' hole in the back 9. It seemed.
Yeah, he had, I believe, 7 birdies on the back 9.
I mean, goodness.
He had 10 birdies on the day. Rose played a great round. He did.
Ran out of holes.
But the one thing I'll say is Rory made the big shot. Rory birdied that playoff.
Yeah, he did.
He had the best second gap wedge shot, and he trusted that club to get onto the green, and he was able to knock in a birdie. So I give credit to Rory there because he matched every Rose shot, and he upped it, and that takes guts. Rose did not give him that Masters championship. He took it. And that was weirdly enough, throughout the round, I was wondering, how is Rory McIlroy going to play this round? He's 12 under. DeChambeau's 10 under. Corey Connors was sitting there at 8 under. Everyone else was sort of a ways back. Was he going to play aggressively? Was he going to play within his game? Was he going to play safe and say, come get me? And then he double bogeyed the first hole, and all of a sudden we're tied, and we haven't even blinked. we haven't even blinked, and we tied. Now, to Rory's credit, bounced back a little bit. DeChambeau had an early bogey. All of a sudden, he's 9 under, and he's able to establish a little bit of a lead. Once that happened, Rory started playing a little bit of, come get me. I'm going to be even on the day around there. Come get me. Come beat me. I'm not gonna hand it off to you. That was his theme. Now, Rory couldn't putt to save his life yesterday, and that really hurt him in some spots. But he was particularly safe on certain shots. Now, the fascinating thing about that round, too, is when Rory explodes on 13 and everything started to get a little bit more within reach and it all started to get dramatic, I got to give Rory credit because once he gets onto 15, a par 5, one of the more gutsy shots I've ever seen. Yeah. That draw shot to get right under the green.
Christian, I mentioned some of the best.
That was one
real golf shots
in terms
Rory
of
McIlroy
context.
hit.
That was one of the best contextual shots I think I've ever seen in that moment.
Double bogeying 13 after you laid up. You hit into the water after you took all precautions to not hit into the water, then bogeying the following hole, 14. Me and my girlfriend, who's a massive Rory McIlroy fan, she loves him. She was in tears throughout the day. Not just when he won. She was in tears for him when he was collapsing, for him when he was pushing forward. We were screaming, don't go for it, Rory. Why are you going for the green on this par 5? You're trying to avoid disaster. And then, of course, he takes that big swooping draw swing to get an eagle putt on 15. I couldn't believe my eyes.
And he didn't even knock in the putt. It didn't matter. That was the ultimate confidence right there.
Yeah, and I wanted to say Tiger makes those eagle putts, but it's unfair to compare the two.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's what I mean, but it's like I can't believe he missed the eagle putt. Honestly, I got to be honest, boys. I cannot believe he missed.
Well, he couldn't putt all day.
Point, he could not putt. The guy could not putt. I could not believe he missed that.
He couldn't putt on 14. Couldn't putt on 13. Oh, God.
What was the footage on that eagle putt? I mean,
Levy had 8 or more feet.
I guess so. Usually 6 feet. 6 feet and in, I feel like a true pro makes. Now, we could talk about the one on 18. That was a disgrace that he missed the one on 18. But 6 feet and in, Kyle, usually a pro hits it. But you just felt that there was not one point in that match, boys, yesterday where I went, yeah, he's got this. There really wasn't. Until the ball went into the hole on the birdie putt in overtime, I did not think Rory McIlroy was going to win that.
13 under coming into 13, I thought he was in good shape. But you're right. You're thinking, when is this going to happen? When is Rory going to start to shrink down a little bit? And to Rory's credit, he matched every low with an immense high. It was an extraordinary round he put together, all things considered. With the pressure that amounted, he was able to stay ahead. The second shot on 17 to get right onto the green, that and the shot on 15, and the second shot on 15, saved his round. Those two there really put him in position to at least a bit of a miss on 18 like he had with the bogey and still be okay with a playoff.
Whenever he had the lead and he played conservatively, he was wetting down his leg.
Yes.
Right.
But when he had to make the hero shots that you try to avoid to have to make, that's when he rose to the occasion. And like you said, had like 4 or 5 shots in one round of golf on the most important legacy-defining day in golf at the Masters in Augusta. He made those shots. And you go back even on the first 9, he had hit like a 9-iron over trees on 7.
Right.
And he somehow stuck it to a birdie putt. He was just a storybook.
It was incredible. And matching every low with a high, it added to the allure of that actual round.
And like you could argue, Christian, with what you just said, like when the pressure was at its highest, he pulled through. Outside of 18, we agree. Outside of 18 and the putt to clinch, when the pressure was at the highest, Rory came through, and when he had to kind of, all right, I got a cushion here, I could breathe. That's when he would wet down his leg. I think that was well said, and I'm tremendously happy for him. I think it's great, like a Grand Slam. Now, my miserable friends go, oh, it should have been done years ago. For some reason, all my friends can't stand Rory. I'm like the only Rory fan out of all of my buddies. But, like, guys, that's something that we shouldn't take for granted either. Like, what did 2 in the last 50 years? Grand Slams? Now, you hope that maybe another guy can come up to that. But, Colin, I love the point of getting that monkey off your back, man. And Rory certainly did that on Sunday.
Now, that Justin Rose playoff, I think the biggest pressure shots that Christian was alluding to before, where you sort of needed it, you had to have it, because Rose shot first.
Yes.
And fired one down the fairway. And you're like, that was it.
Dunked.
Excellent. Excellent.
The ball landed about 6 inches from the hole,
right.
And then it rolled out and didn't have the hill to roll back on like Rory's.
Matched every one. Very a gutsy performance. Good for Rory, because the Masters golf needed that, and it was a historic moment. And I'll tell you one thing, too. The no phones rule at the Masters, more sporting events should adopt that. It adds so much to the actual viewing experience on TV, in person, to the people involved, because that was a historic sporting moment and a historic sporting day.
I'm not, like, if a big moment's happening in a game, I'm not bring your phone out, guy, and record
stupid.
it.
It's the dumbest thing in the
I've never
world.
been that person, Christian.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I've never been that person.
It is really bad because you don't actually experience the moment. You worry about making sure you get it on camera so you can show everybody else that you saw kind of that
it's
moment.
It's a pick-me moment. Like, look at me. It's a pick-me thing. I don't know.
The thing is, the reason why it works at the Masters is because of how exclusive the event is. They can pretty much do whatever they want, and they'll still have a line out the door, people wanting to get in. How many more events could institute that policy and get away with it?
A lot.
You think? I think
a lot of playoff settings can get it. I don't think they'll ever do it because it's just too hard to police at a non-golf event. But I think there's something to it. I really do.
It's just the security checkpoint, and they're just like, hey, no phones. And they can see if you have a phone when you walk through the security checkpoint, like you have to do when you get into the gates anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's harder to make it easy on the fans because you have to have a checkpoint to put their phone so they can't bring it in if someone accidentally does bring it. But, yeah. And people have their tickets on their phone, too. That's the problem.
Right. Rory McIlroy winning the 89th Masters. The fascinating thing about his round was the opening part. I don't think he found a fairway in the front nine. That guy could not drive worth a damn in that first round, in that front nine. He couldn't do it. And then, to his credit, once you started entering in the second half of his round, it was the short game that was killing him, and
his approach shots were incredible.
It was some of the gap wedge shot killed him on 13, but yeah, like his irons, he was locked in, and his driver was up and down and towards that back nine, but it was the short game that killed him. It was a tale of two halves. That first half, his short game was okay, but it was he was in the bunker on the first hole. Yeah. He couldn't find a fairway, and then he flipped it towards the second half. Really a bizarre all-time Masters performance, all-time Masters Sunday. As Rose was knocking, a couple guys collapsed under the pressure. DeChambeau did not have a good round. Oberg had a great round and then started triple bogeying 18, killing his chances there. Scheffler was up and down basically the whole weekend, still finished fifth. And it didn't even smell like a normal Scottie Scheffler performance. That's just how good he is. But Rory gets the monkey off his back. He escapes the jinx. And it got me thinking about the actual prospect of entering that immortality. To escape the jinx, to escape that dark cloud, to get that monkey off your back. Sports teams, cities, players, the whole thing. A lot of times, you got to do something extraordinary to do it. You got to be heroic. Red Sox in 2004, Cubs in 2016, John Elway getting his first Super Bowl. We're talking about some of the best monkey off the back moments, alluding to the Rory McIlroy Masters win yesterday on Sunday in Augusta. It's Russo Rizzo over on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
The Cleveland Orchestra returns to Miami this May for a final weekend of extraordinary concerts. An electrifying program you won't want to miss, featuring Holst's epic orchestral suite, The Planets. The Cleveland Orchestra in their final Miami concerts, May 2nd and 3rd at the Adrian Arsh Center. Tickets at arshcenter.org.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Listen up, if you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're the type to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Listen, I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand the best in the business. That's Anajar and Levine. All it takes is one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. That's 1-800-747-FREE. Call 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Well, Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catter with you on ESPN 1063 on Russo and Rizzo. Rory McIlroy, the 89th Masters champion. He finally accomplishes that Grand Slam, joining 5 other all-time great golfers to accomplish the feat. The 6th ever, the second in the last 50 years, joining Tiger Woods. Jack Nicklaus got it in 1966. And Tiger got it in about 2000, and then Rory in 2025, just to show the rarity of that accomplishment as he had a very dramatic final round yesterday up in Augusta. He got the monkey off his back. He escaped the jinx. And you almost think about it, with the intensity, the drama attached to that actual round, the ups, the downs, the playoff, first one since 2017 where Rose lost to Sergio. it got you thinking about teams and players that have gotten that monkey off their back, that has escaped that jinx, escaped that dark cloud. Rory did it. John Elway did it when he finally got those Super Bowls towards the end of his career with the Denver Broncos after losing the prior 3 opportunities. LeBron, 2016, when he brought a title to Cleveland. That was his burden is fulfilled with Cleveland when he did that, coming back from 3-1, mind you, in that spot. The Red Sox, curse of the Bambino. They were close in 2003 when they lost in 7 to the Yankees on the Aaron Boone game.
About to say Booney.
And then they came back in 2004. The Cubs, killing that drought, 3-1 down to the Indians in 2016. Big moments, immortal moments, and moments like that to really escape the jinx, it requires intense heroics.
Black magic, Kyle. It
requires the magic.
It does. And I'm happy you brought this up because I'll never forget. Colin, I remember the day like it was yesterday. We were sitting at a P.F. Chang's. It was my dad, my brother, and myself. And it was 2016. And I said, guys, I looked at my brother and my dad. I said, I can't believe it. They're going to blow it again. We're down 3-1. This is over. And my brother looks at me and he goes, Mike, sometimes, man, in order to break some of these curses, you got to do the crazy. You got to do the crazy. He goes, do you think it's just going to be a walk in the park for Cleveland to win a championship? Absolutely not. And he brought up the curse of the Bambino, and lo and behold, the Cavs came back from three games, 3 games to 1, and they won the whole thing. Granted, I don't think in our wildest dreams we thought the Indians would do this, get hit with the reverse with the Cubbies the way they did, but sometimes when you break it, Kyle, you got to do it in crazy ways, and you see it all the time throughout sports. The one that kind of the White Sox had a curse, correct? The Sox
they
had
won
a
in
curse.
2005, yeah.
But before
the Black Sox curse?
Yes, before that's like kind of the only like recent curse from sitting here like, wow, that wasn't. I think they won in like 5 games against the Astros, but neither here nor there. It's got to take heroics, and you got to look at the fine line of things when it comes to these curses. And there's a reason they're a cursed team, because they always blow it until they don't. And usually when they do win and they do break the curses in tremendous fashion. So I'm completely fine with Cleveland doing it. I'm completely fine with it happening to the Indians again. But you saw it with Rory. I mean, I never thought. I go back to what I said. You never thought. At least me, when Rory went into overtime, that he was gonna win. I never thought that he was gonna beat Justin Rose in a setting like that.
Really?
Ever. I in my wildest dreams, I texted all my buddies.
Rose is another guy who battles with
I said, here we go.
Battles with greatness. That guy never wins a big spot either.
I said, here we go. Here we go. Rory's gonna blow it again. Granted, I did have Rory at plus 600, Christian, and thank you, Rory, for cashing that ticket. But I never thought that he was gonna win that. And I guess it is the pessimist in me too, Kyle. I mean, as a Cleveland sports fan, I'm truly a pessimist when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you blow it and you got to go to an overtime, you got to win. The whole Rajay Davis thing. My friends yell at me, Colin. I wish Rajay never hit the home run. Honest to God, I wish Rajay Davis never hit that home run.
Wow,
it ruined it. I rather have lost I forget what the score was at the time during that game. I'd rather have just lost in 9 innings and have Rajay Davis hit that, and then have Brian Shaw come back in after rain delay and blow that game to the Cubs.
Fair enough. I mean, it's
I get yelled at for that. I don't care.
The magic of it all. It's sort of to escape it. It's like you got to, like you said, you got to attack it in its own direction. You got a negative magical curse. You got to attack it with some positive magic. Phil Mickelson in 2004 won the Masters, and that was somebody who was 33 at the time, somebody who has been known as a great golfer, sort of overshadowed by Tiger, and not necessarily an accomplished golfer to that point. Won his first major in that 2004 Masters, where he hit that 20-foot putt to birdie 18, and was one of the few golfers ever to win the Masters on a birdie in the final hole. Mm-hmm. That type of get the monkey off your back, it requires the magic. 888-760-3776. The biggest monkey off your back moments in sports. The biggest escape the jinx, escape the dark cloud. Rory McIlroy did it yesterday up in Augusta. What's one that you remember? What's one that comes to mind for you? 888-760-3776.
I think the biggest one has to be the 04 Red Sox being down 0-3 to the Yankees. It has to be that.
In terms of the
to
magic?
Win 4 games in a row. And I know Christian, as the Yankee fan, probably hates to hear it. But even me as a miserable Cleveland sport fan, like obviously we mentioned, Kyle, you mentioned you got to use the good magic to get rid of the blood, like the Kyrie 3. That's when I thought, all right, this thing's actually going to happen. I wonder what it is with Red Sox where you go, all right, was it game 5? Was it the Damon game? There's so many things that happened in that Red Sox and Yankees series where you look back and you just go, wow, truly the higher powers, whatever you believe in. I'm Catholic. My God, Jesus himself was with the Red Sox. God himself was with the Red Sox during that 0-3
and that was
series.
the most famous curse in sports at that moment.
And the Dave Roberts stolen bag. I mean, there were so many moments within that series where Big Papi, Kyle, that was the birth of Big Papi, the big hitter, baby.
Yeah. And it was against the biggest dynasty in the last 30 years for baseball. Was that Yankee team. And I know they lost in 03, but still on the tail end of one of the great runs baseball's ever seen.
They three-peated.
So that was it. That is the type of magic that requires that type of victory. And Rory did that. And weirdly enough, it's not like you had magic and you thought you were going to be dead the whole time. I thought Rory, it was like he was working against himself. And he's right. Rory goes post round, and he immediately says, he goes, once I missed that putt on 18, or when I started collapsing on 13 and 14, I realized it was not me against anybody else. It was me against the course. That was it. And it was that from the beginning. Bryson DeChambeau said, Rory didn't talk to me once.
Locked in.
It was him against himself. And that was it. That's what it felt like.
What's your biggest monkey off your back moment, Colin?
I mean, from my memory, the Cavalier one was huge.
Oh, thank you.
That Cubs one, it was the same year. And that Cub one was also a massive one. But that Cavalier one, I remember that series very well. Now, the problem with that series is tremendously overrated.
Oh.
Because that only Game 7 was great. Game 6 was okay. There was not a lot of great games. All those games were blowouts.
Can I make a case for Game 5? Kyrie and LeBron with a 50-burger.
Right, but they won by 25. They won by 30 points. And then Game 6, the game that Curry got ejected throwing the mouthpiece.
I was 4 rows up.
But they won by 15. They won by 15 points that game. That series is overrated in the sense that Game 7 is one of the best NBA games of all time. But the rest of the series wasn't that great. It's the story. It's the arc. That was the intriguing part of that.
To Game 7's point, there wasn't a bucket for like 4 minutes straight at the end of that game, and then Kyrie hit the 3.
Right. That was one of the best NBA games of all. Neck and neck the whole way.
And then LeBron had a chance to posterize Draymond Green and to have the best dunk of all time, but he missed it, and he had to go to the free throw line. Almost broke his wrist trying to dunk that ball,
I mean, that's what he said. But yes, I agree. And he made a free throw to close out the game. That was one of the great NBA games of all time. The series wasn't great. Now, Cubs Guardians had so many moments littered throughout, and that was just a city. You felt that a little bit more than Cleveland because it was the Cubs, and it's an historic. They don't necessarily not the same as the Cavaliers. It was more about the city rather than the franchise.
Well,
the Cubs was more about the team.
And let's be honest, it pains me to say this: the Cubbies are more of a brand than any Cleveland sport team.
Yeah, Cleveland was about the city.
Right.
Chicago, it was about the city, but it was also about the Cubs themselves.
The Cub fan.
It was about the Cubs themselves because they got multiple teams.
It was.
They got multiple teams.
My moment, Colin, where I knew we were going to lose that was when Tyler Naquin ate it in center field in Game 6. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He missed it. I looked at my buddy. I said, we're done. They're like, Riz, he got another. I'm like, guys, we are so done in the series. And then how about Game 7, Kyle? One of the greatest baseball games of all time.
One of the great baseball games of all time.
And I know I already have my Cleveland fans blowing me up and my friends about the Rajay Davis home run. I still stand by what I said. I wish he would have never hit it because we lost. But David Ross hitting, first off, Dexter Fowler, first batter of the game, hits a home run. David Ross hitting the home run. Just heroes.
Back and forth, hero ball.
Hero ball. Heroes for the Cubbies. And who would have thunk that David David Ross was going to be the one to hit a home
because
run.
it was about the team. It was about the team.
What a weird night. Kyle, that was a November night in Cleveland. It was like 65 degrees outside. I mean, just from the jump, it was one of those games that you knew was going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Cleveland had 3 pitchers. They had the whole playoffs. They had Kluber, Allen, and Miller, and those guys were gassed.
And it was one of those things where Cleveland kind of already had the monkey off its back. Chicago didn't. The Cubs did not. That's the type of...
God forbid we're greedy, Colin. God forbid I'm allowed to have 2 championships in a calendar year.
Yep. And that's what Roy did. This is a guy who hasn't won a major in 11 years, who took the golf world by storm. Debuted, I think, in 2009 or 2010. Got 3 majors in the span of a year in 2013, 2014. This is an all-time great golfer, but it was somebody that was plagued by his constant nagging ability. People are a little ridden down by Tiger because Tiger was just the ultimate beast in a big spot.
The inevitable.
He was the ultimate beast. That's what 2019 felt like. It's like, oh my God, you awoke the Tiger again. That's literally what that felt like. That was an unstoppable force finally being rewoken. Rory did not feel like that. Rory felt like you have 2 sides of a different coin of destiny clashing against each other. One that tells you that this guy can never get the big one done versus another one where it's like, this is my year, I'm taking it.
So, boys, yesterday or 2019? To your Tiger.
2019, probably.
To your Tiger one. Christian, did you like yesterday's Masters more or 2019 more?
I was more enthralled with the whole grouping throughout of yesterday, but it's definitely Tiger on the comeback.
It is for me too, and it's Tiger for me, Christian, because I'm a Tiger stan. Like I love Tiger. I love of the game kind of disappeared when Tiger was it's not really non-existent in these tournaments. I know PGA fans hate to hear that because of how great the golf is and how great yesterday was, but it's got to be 19 for me still.
Yeah, 2019 was a massive sports world moment.
But this wasn't.
This was this meant more for golf fans. Tiger meant more for sports fans. I think that's fair to say.
I don't think it's fair to say that this didn't mean anything for sports fans.
It meant something, not as much as Tiger.
Not as much as Tiger.
Back to relevant.
But this was an all sports moment yesterday.
Yeah,
this
was
not a golf fan moment yesterday. It was an all sports moment.
I guess when you talk about the
it's just he doesn't have he just doesn't have the gravity of Tiger. He just doesn't have the gravity of Tiger. That's the bottom line.
And you gain gravity like him by winning as many majors as Tiger has.
Nobody has the. You knew Tiger. This is the last one. You knew that this is we're not going to see Tiger like this ever again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you don't get that sense with Rory. That was not like the retirement tour.
Right, but on the nuts and bolts of it, this had so many more impactful shots.
It was.
Much more up and downs.
It was a better Sunday. It was like, and all together, like it was a better Sunday for me to see Tiger finally win it again. But with everything considered, drama and extra holes, free golf being played, yesterday was probably the better match.
It was.
Right?
The gravity of the shots. It was drastic in that back nine. It was incredible.
Yeah, if both events were happening simultaneously and there were silhouettes instead of the actual people, it'd be no question. Yesterday was unbelievable in every sense of the word. But when you attach Tiger to it, it changes things, and it lives it into the 2019's favor.
Yep. I mean, nobody was not rooting for, unless you absolutely can't stand Tiger Woods. I mean, everybody was rooting for Tiger. Was everybody rooting for Rory? That's my question.
I think that was the case that everybody was, but everybody kind of knows what Rory is. Like, this guy's going to find a way to get in his own way.
But, Christian, I think everybody was rooting for Tiger. Not everybody was rooting for Rory.
Yeah, you're right. Everyone wanted to see the impossible happen with Tiger Woods.
Right.
This looks to be a literal impossibility for Tiger Woods to be back on top of the mountain and win a major. It was not a if, but when for Rory, and it kind of was overstaying its welcome when he gets to over a decade. But we knew Rory was eventually going to do it.
Win another major. Get a Masters or a major?
A major.
Okay.
A major. This was a special moment, but Rory's been winning tournaments this year.
Right,
he's won
but
two.
it's the majors.
And that's what
It's the majors that has been the plague that has infested his career. He is a... It's not right there. It's not right to call him a choke artist, but he has choked in big spots time and time again.
To that point, my group text, I told you, a lot of my buddies hate Rory. Like, sports hate Rory. Hate's a strong word. Sports hate. They're sick of him. They were saying, my God, it's about time. Now go away. That was one of my best friends who can't stand Rory McIlroy, Christian. It's, all right, it's about time.
If that's their takeaway after watching what we saw yesterday, dude, get your head examined.
Should have happened 5 years ago. Now go away. I go, you guys are truly a miserable lot. I said, you guys are a miserable, and I agree with you, Colin. I said, if you watch that whole round and that's what you got to say, that is miserable. I feel bad. But yeah, those are a couple of my buddies saying, God, about time, now go away.
In terms of gravity of the situations, there's so many just picturesque moments. That second shot on 15, the second shot on 17, that putt on 18 that put him at a bogey that didn't let him do it. Rose hitting that shot to hit birdie, to make birdie on 18, to get to 11 under.
Guy ran out of holes.
Clutch.
Guy ran out of holes.
Clutch. That was after he smoked 17 on 2-putted. There's just so many moments. Even Patrick Reed.
Former champion.
Getting the dunk, what was that, on 16? Oh, my God, unbelievable. And he had a 4-putt on 13, and that took him out of it. But there's just so many moments that round had in store. We got to bring in Jonathan Zazo, the Zazo Show 2.0, into the program next as we continue to talk about some of the biggest monkey-off-your-back moments that we have seen, including from yesterday over in Augusta at the 89th Masters, where Rory McIlroy completed the Grand Slam, 6th golfer ever to win all 4 majors in the golf world. We're bringing Jonathan Zazo on the flip side of things. Stick around for it. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Good people. Steele Dorsey.
May the force be with you.
Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium is hosting Star Wars Night on Saturday, April 26th at 6 p.m. Come see the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals face off in a galaxy not too far away. Take pictures with your favorite movie characters and enjoy the fireworks after the game. To purchase tickets and to find out more information, stop by the ticket office or visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $889 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli. And I...
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man,
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
April the 14th, Monday edition, Masters Monday edition of the program on Russo and Rizzo. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat with you from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Also streaming live on YouTube at ESPN West Palm and Facebook and Twitter/X as well. Welcoming in a partner, a friend of the program, Mr. Jonathan Zaslow, the voice of the 305.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley Gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills offense keep up with the Dolphins offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers' power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305.
Welcome in, Mr. Zaslow. How are we doing today? What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
It's poppin', dude.
Big day yesterday. Masters. How you guys doing? You all right?
Excellent, excellent. Give me your reaction yesterday. Rory becoming the 6th golfer ever to accomplish that Grand Slam. Did it in dramatic form. One of the great Masters final rounds we've seen in the last couple of years here. Give me a sense of your reaction to how Rory did.
Yeah, it was great because, I'm on the air yesterday. I'm on ESPN, and I'm essentially doing like a play-by-play of 17 and 18. And I'm not this huge golf aficionado. I'm not this huge golf fan, all right? But I'll tell you guys, when he missed that putt on 18, I was shook. I was shook watching it. And then I don't know how you recover. You have to go back to the front of 18 now. You're going to play the playoff, the sudden death. How are you not, like, shaking while you're up there on the tee? You blew it. You had the chance. You've been waiting forever here. And then to have the performance he did on the final hole, he gets the birdie. He winds up winning. He's in tears afterward. I thought it was a very, very cool moment. I was way into it, guys.
Zaz, as far as Masters Sundays, where does that stack up for you?
The one that I always go back and think about is Mickelson, right? Like, isn't that the one?
And 04?
Go back and think about.
I went back to 19 with Tiger just because that's, I was such a Tiger guy, Zaz, to see him get back to that mountain of winning a major. I went to 19, but I understand 04 definitely.
Yeah, I think about Mickelson because he's the guy who always had the reputation. He's never going to. Now, granted, Rory's won majors before, okay, and Mickelson had never even won a major, but that was always the thing. He's a choker. He's not going to win the big one. So that's always the one I go back and think of. But, how about this, guys? So McIlroy misses the putt, and he goes from big choker, one of the all-time chokers, and literally 20 minutes later, talk about a swing of a pendulum. Now, you can make a case of he's one of the greatest, most accomplished golfers of all time. Only 6 guys have ever gotten Grand Slam. Only one that's not he's the only one not called Tiger Woods in the last 50 years. So in 20 minutes, guys, you go from biggest choker to one of the greatest of all time. That's wild.
Zaz, I told Colin and Christian, I never thought he was going to win overtime. I did. He missed that putt.
How can you recover?
He missed that putt. I go, he's done. This is carbon copy of what's happened in years past.
Yeah. How could you possibly recover? That's probably the most impressive part to me. Like, how did he not just hit it into the trees in the playoff, and he ends up triple bogeying, and it's a total disaster. Good for him, man. That was cool stuff.
I'd even argue that, like, he did it on 13. He collapsed on 13.
Yeah.
14 was a mess. And then all of a sudden, I think maybe one of the best shots of his entire career on that second shot on 15 to put him on the green. Even though he didn't eagle putt it, he still 2-putted it for a birdie. And that almost settled him down to a sense that, all right, you still have your highs, you still have your lows, even after the double bogey on 1. He double bogeyed on 1.
Yeah, how about the start of the day? All of a sudden,
settled down.
He's behind DeChambeau, two holes in.
Yeah,
amazing recovery.
It was a tale of back and forth, and it was almost like two sides of the same destiny coin of the choke artist versus the all-time great were sort of at each other's head. And that's how sports works. 20 minutes can make or break your entire career, and that was what that moment was.
Yep.
You were watching that, thinking that.
Here's the funny thing, right? Where, okay, so Rory McIlroy, can he win the Masters? We've been talking about this since 2011, since he blew it then. Like, this has been a thing. Is he going to choke again? We've seen this before on Sundays at the Masters. Well, that's over with now. So that's not a conversation anymore. So as a sports fan, I feel like sometimes we miss those narratives. We miss those conversations where it's like, oh, okay, so, all right, that's not going to be a thing anymore when we turn on the Masters. Rory is not a big story anymore. You know, it's kind of like in baseball where when the Red Sox, 86 years, they win the World Series in 2004. It's like, all right, so that's no longer a thing now, huh? We don't get to talk about that. Same thing with the Cubs. When the Cubs win the World Series in 15, 16, whatever it was, it's like, oh, all right, I guess they're not the lovable losers anymore. They just won the World Series.
2016 with Cleveland and and LeBron finally getting it off his back.
It's like we lose that storyline as fans, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like you root for it because it's so fun to talk about.
It's fun to talk about.
So, Zaz, we've been talking about that specifically today. Is there a curse that's been broken that sticks out to you the most?
That monkey off your back moment, team, player.
Yeah.
So Zaz, quickly, I said the Red Sox being down 0-3, I was 10.
Probably
it was
Red Sox.
It was like my introduction to, oh my God, how great is like sports when things like this happen.
Yeah, probably
you know?
the Red Sox, because you came back from 0-3, and then, of course, you get to the World Series, you sweep, I think it was
St. Louis.
Yeah, you sweep St. Louis. So, that's probably the biggest one as far as the team goes. If we're thinking about a team, thinking about a franchise, a city. But for players, one of the bigger ones to me was John Elway. Because growing up, if you grew up in the 80s, we know how great Elway is. But, man, he'd been in 3 Super Bowls, got crushed in all 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
Like, blown out, all right? We're talking 55-10 to San Francisco. Just not competitive, the Denver Broncos. And then finally, career's starting to wind down. It's 1998. They're playing the Packers, who are a double-digit favorite, all right? The Packers already won a Super Bowl. They're a double-digit favorite against these Denver Broncos. Like, all right, it's going to happen again. He's going to get killed in the Super Bowl like always. And not only do the Broncos win the Super Bowl, but Elway, with the game-winning touchdown, the helicopter dive into the end zone. I mean, is there a more perfect way to get the monkey off your back than the way Elway did it there? And, of course, the next year, they were one of the all-time great teams. They wound up winning the Super Bowl again.
Right, absolutely. And they got the running game organized. It was a well-rounded offense. Like that was another all-time great moment where, and it got me thinking, the next one, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills.
That would be the next one.
That would be the next one.
Right.
If the Buffalo Bills were able, as a city, the players attached to it, but it's more about the franchise than anything.
Yeah.
Once that franchise gets that monkey off its back of an introduction, because there's no return, an introduction to the greatness. The Eagles is another one. 2018, they haven't won in 58 years.
Yeah.
And they had a backup quarterback beat Tom Brady going head-to-head. That's another one.
Yeah, so monkey up, I think the Bills are the all-time one right now.
Agreed.
For team sports. And I would say
the Lions were one as well, but yes.
I would say second is the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs haven't won in 1,000 years, all right? And they're big-time chokers. If they meet the Panthers again in the playoffs this year, the Panthers are going to kick their ass again, all right?
Yep.
So Toronto, to me, would be number 2. I think Buffalo's number 1.
Can I give you a baseball one?
Yeah.
It's the Indians, dude. How isn't it?
Yeah.
97, 16. Zaz, 1948 was the last time that team won a World Series, man. I mean, my guy was my great-grandfather. He used to tell me about the Indians winning that. So, and I think after losing to the Cubs, I think it's a little relevant as well. So.
Yeah. Indians are up there. Indian Guardians.
Guardians
are up there.
Guys.
Guardians are up there as well. But I think I would have them third. I do, because Buffalo seems like
Agreed.
A bigger one.
Well, football, Zaz, I agree. Football is king.
And then Toronto, I mean, it's their sport, Canada,
right.
So I would have Buffalo 1, Toronto Maple Leafs number 2. I would have Cleveland Guardians number 3.
Yeah, a monkey off your back.
Or Cleveland Guardians / Cleveland Browns.
Sure. How about that? And I joked around with Colin. He goes, well, Mike, you came back 3-1. I said, well, God forbid I'm allowed to have 2 championships in one sports calendar with the damn Guardians.
The way I view the Browns is not similar to the Guardians. They haven't necessarily flirted with greatness in any way. The Bills flirt with greatness every year.
That's
what
point.
McElroy is.
Right, you haven't had your heart broken because you never got close enough.
They flirt with the greatness every year. McElroy flirted with greatness every year. That's why that was
torture.
Big of a moment. Matt Mickelson was another one.
The torture of losing, Colin and Zaz. The torture of, I mean, my God, what Buffalo? Three Super Bowls, 3, Maple Leafs, same thing. You
got, and it's almost like to get rid of that ultimate jinx, You got to do something completely heroic.
Now, Colin and Zaz, you brought up the Maple Leafs, but can we do Canada in general for hockey as well? That's still a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't won since '93.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not like all of Canada roots for all the teams no matter what. Like,
Fair.
Montreal is not going to root for Toronto
Fair.
in the Stanley Cup final, So it's not
nowadays,
totally exclusive.
Nowadays, you never know. Nowadays. But I understand the point. You're right. It's you got different fan bases sort of at clash with each other. It's not necessarily a patriotism thing.
Right.
Once you get into the Stanley Cup final, you save that for the four nations. Jonathan Zazzo, they're joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. Zaz, you got the NBA playoffs. You got the Stanley Cup playoffs on the horizon here. The NBA specifically. Those seedings are now officially locked in. It almost got overshadowed. I was able to tune into it. That Clipper Warrior game was a great game. It was one of the best regular season game of the whole season.
Well, that's what happens sometimes. If the players try, you may get more of those.
Yeah, they got to have those games.
with you.
They got to have those games on Saturday to not go head to head against the final round of the Masters. But a great game. The Clippers won. They got that 4-5 matchup. All right, give me a sense of this. Let's stay on the Western Conference here. Is there a team to you that outside of Oklahoma City that is really screaming now for a run for an upset at the right time?
I mean, I think Oklahoma City's the team. I think they're a cut above everybody else. I'm a little bit curious what Denver's going to look like. I really am. After one of the most tumultuous weeks in the history of their franchise, they
won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they're red hot going into the playoffs now.
Now, they played 3 iffy teams. They played Sacramento. They beat the Grizzlies, who anybody could beat the Grizzlies, and they beat the Rockets, benching all their starters. But yeah, you're right.
Right. So, but it's Jokic, and you look at it like, man, I don't want to play that guy. So I'm really interested in what that's going to look like, and especially because, look, Gilgeous-Alexander's going to win MVP. I think it should be Jokic, but they're potentially going to meet in the second round. So that's a juicy matchup now all of a sudden. Oklahoma City, Denver in round number 2. So that's one of the games or the series that I'd be looking most forward to. I certainly hope that Golden State wins tomorrow night so that they can face Houston.
Yeah, you think they could beat Houston?
Yeah, I you don't get a 7 beating a 2 very often. I think Golden State would beat them. Houston's entire MO, the whole tough guy act. I don't win a lot of games in the regular season. I think everybody's tough in the playoffs.
Agreed.
I don't think that works come playoff time. So I would trust Golden State in that series. And then potentially you're hoping to get a Golden State Lakers second round matchup is what that would be. So those are kind of the early storylines that I'm looking at there in the West.
Now, Zaz, for years, players have been chasing immortality in the NBA playoffs. For years. We've seen teams, they got to win it. If they don't win it this year, what's going to happen? There's no theme like that this year. Zaz, there's no team that's desperate to win. There's no player that's chasing immortality. Give me one. Because I don't see it.
It's not the player chasing immortality, but you look at what the Clippers are doing right now. Kawhi's healthy. You don't give any cracks at Kawhi being healthy.
I hear you, but are we sitting here going, God, if the Clippers don't win at all,
it is their last go-round.
Yeah, I feel like
that team was great yesterday. They James Harden in overtime having 2 threes and a crucial and one, a couple steals on Curry.
This is the Kawhi they signed, 6 years ago.
Fair enough.
So
I agree.
Feels like this is the chance for them.
But you get what I'm saying, Zaz.
The Clippers aren't the franchise that's attached to that. You think about the Knicks, but the Knicks aren't going to do it, and the Knicks aren't going to.
Knicks are not going to do it, but I don't know. Maybe Cleveland's that team because especially if you get to
God's ear.
Especially if you get to a Game 7 in the East Finals against Boston. I mean, this is what you played 82 regular season games for, is for the one game in your building against the Boston Celtics. So if we get to that moment. Like that would be the big story.
And Zaz, where are you at with your Heat? Where are you at with the 305?
I think they're going to lose tomorrow night. I mean, they're 0-3 against Chicago this year.
I would root for that, too.
They're 0-3 against Chicago this year.
If you're the Miami Heat, I think you should root for that.
Yeah, right? And because, Zaz, I bring this up because Colin gets on me all the time about this, but truly I think the Heat are in a tough spot right now just because you don't have that star. You're not really necessarily in it for the lottery. They're kind of in purgatory right now.
Yeah, and they're not the type of team that's going to rebuild. They don't do that.
Right, and Zaz, how you get stars. You got to lose, 70 games, 65 games and get a high draft
Well,
pick.
This team, they if they lose tomorrow night, they have a 3% chance, all right, of getting number 1 overall. The Miami Heat as a franchise, by the way, have never won the draft lottery. They have never had the number 1 overall pick. They would have a 3% chance of getting number 1 overall, but forget about that because that's not going to happen. I'm hoping that this offseason is finally the offseason where they make a major change. They haven't done a major move in 6 years. 6 years ago, offseason, they trade for Jimmy Butler. It's been the same course since then. Well, that's officially over now because they moved on from Butler. So I'm hoping that this offseason, okay, now they are officially going to make some major changes.
Zaz, Stanley Cup, I know we got a couple weeks here, but I know you got your Florida Panthers.
Yes.
Who you got your eye on to make a big run there?
Well, look, the Panthers still have a chance to get number 2 in the Atlantic.
Right.
It has to start with a win tonight. They are not going to win the division. They're out of that. They could still get number 2 in the Atlantic, so you got to get 2 points tonight and a win against the Rangers, and then you face the scenario tomorrow against Tampa Bay. I don't think that the Panthers are going to get number 2 because I don't think they're going to play their guys tomorrow. I think the Panthers are a lot more concerned with just being healthy for the start of the playoffs next week as opposed to having to win an extra road playoff game. This team can win road playoff games. They don't care about home ice advantage. So it's looking like the Panthers will probably open the playoffs at Tampa Bay, which I love because, look, they took us out in 21 and 22. We took them out in 24. I'd like to do it again here this year.
And it's not terrible travel. It's a great place to play.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy there.
I would consider putting the Zaslow men. We'd hop on into the Zaslow Mobile. We'd make a drive up there to Tampa, go to a road playoff game. That sounds like a lot of fun. So I think that's what's going to wind up happening is Florida and Tampa in the first round. But look, it's, who can make a run? It's going to be a bloodbath. That's the way these Stanley Cup playoffs are. It's a bloodbath.
That's why it's great.
Every single round is super, super hard. For the Panthers to make it to a third straight Stanley Cup final, it's going to be so, so hard, but it's so good. It's my drugs. I can't wait for the anxiety. I love it.
For the Zaslow boys to leave the Zaslow mansion, Zaz,
we will pack up that Zaslow Mobile. We will drive right on up the highway. We will invade that Amalie Arena.
Absolutely.
Panthers Lightning.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Zaslow with us now. Zaz, where can people tune into if they want to listen more?
Yeah, Zaslow Show 2.0. Every weekday, you download an episode. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, wherever you get your podcasts. I love you a long time. You can check that out, Zaslow Show 2.0. And every single episode is presented by Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Any kind of personal injury you're dealing with, those from a hit and run, motorcycle, boating, car accident, slip and fall, you get the compensation you deserve when you call Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733.
Zaz, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk again next week, all right?
Great job, guys. See ya.
Jonathan Zaslow, of
Thanks,
course, at the
Zaz.
Zaslow Show 2.0. We'll take a timeout, do a little 5 and 5 on the flip side. We got Steve Politziner coming up at 5:20. Stick around for it as we continue on here. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
What up, fellow Gen Xers? Elizabeth Banks here. As the original Latchkey kids, we took things into our own hands, like house keys and video game controllers. And now it's time for us to do it again, because the recommended age to get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. we're at over 6 times greater risk compared to adults under 50. So go to VaxAssist.com and schedule. Gen X, this is our shot. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, this is Blaine Isbell, Corporate Vice President of Team IP. For over 30 years, Team IP has been a national leader in decorated apparel and promotional products. National corporate brands and 22 college bowl games, including the Boca Raton Bowl, make Team IP their partner of choice. Team IP, located right in our community in Stewart, is a proud partner of ESPN West Palm. Contact me anytime at 877-821-8643 or head to teamip.com and take the first step in making Team IP your team to boost your brand.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat right here. ESPN 1063 also streaming live on YouTube at ESPN West Palm on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All those great places. Go start your day off with a win. Go start your day off with a true moral victory. And go over to F45 downtown West Palm Beach, locations in Wellington as well. F45, it's the real side of functional working out. It's not necessarily the Olympic lifts that somebody might be used to. It's more about keeping your body fit, mobile, flexible, the whole thing, getting that heart rate up, 45 minutes in and out. You got 2 coaches on site making sure you're doing everything right. You got a bunch of like-minded fitness individuals in a class setting where the music's blaring and it's a great time. And you can, before and after, chat, mingle, have a good time. And also you feel good about your day. Classes all throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon as well. You can see me there in the mornings in the downtown location. Just starting your day off with a win. The momentum's a real thing, especially in your day-to-day routine. Go do it at F45. Get your first 3 classes for just $30 today. All right, Christian, how are you today, my friend?
Couldn't be better.
Yeah?
Hungover on golf, which is a good feeling.
And I'll say, Christian has his Masters hat on. What a year to get a Masters hat.
I know. I wish I had more merchandise, but I'll settle for it.
2025 Masters, yeah, you got it on the hat. Yeah,
what a year to get a hat. That's good by you.
You know, I've got a little lingering shoulder injury, so I couldn't quite play any round of golf today. I couldn't go to the driving range. What did I do? Next best thing, went to the putting green. Putt around for about an hour and a half. Nice. Got to get my game like Rory's.
90 minutes on the putting green?
A little chip in two.
What are you, Justin Rose over there?
Had to get better.
I got quickly. How long did Rose take on some
He's
of the
ridiculous.
shots?
He is ridiculous.
I couldn't take that
on his putts.
He's trying to win his first Masters.
I don't care.
Stop, dude.
Justin, please.
I'm with
you got Oberg right there on your tail who plays fast. Yeah, this is unbelievable.
Christian,
the dude is examining every inch of that green. Justin, let's go. Let's get a move on. If you weren't leading, people would say you're driving everybody crazy.
Christian, I didn't complain until 17. He deserved to miss that after how long he took.
He did step off twice.
He deserved to miss that, and he did.
Ridiculous. Justin, let's go. Let's get a move on. You take absolutely forever. It's obnoxious. I understand you need to make sure your putting is good, but oh my God. Even on the playoff on 18, examining every little piece of it. And he did it on 18 to get that birdie putt. Fine. Take 20 seconds less. It's not going to hurt you. Not going to hurt you. Christian, let's have a little fun here. Let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Well, we're talking about it. Rory McIlroy beats Justin Rose in overtime to win the 2025 Masters and complete the Golf Grand Slam. For Rory, was this everything you wanted out of a Masters Sunday?
It was great because going in, everybody thought it was going to be DeChambeau. But it was more about Rory versus the course. It was not about DeChambeau being that lone challenge. And it wasn't as much about Justin Rose being that lone challenge. It was about if Rory can get past those mental hurdles that he somehow runs into in every big spot in these majors. Can he get over that? That was the real theme of the round. Can Rory get over his own collapse? And he did it time and time again, and it was a marvel to watch.
It had everything you wanted on a Masters Sunday, and it was Rory's day. And I couldn't be happier. As a big Rory McIlroy golf fan, was relieved that the guy finally won the Masters. And I'm happy that he is the second player in 50 years to complete the Grand Slam. With that said, God, those LIV guys, man. DeChambeau capitulation, Christian. Tyrell Hatton capitulation as well. I felt for a couple of those LIV boys on Sunday. I really did.
It made up for a third of the top 15.
Yeah, man. They had a 5 of the top 15.
It happens, but more so Bryson. I was shocked by Bryson. A lot of my buddies
he had no control over the actual pace of his shots. He had none.
A lot of my buddies bet Bryson before the Masters begun. It was basically me versus all my friends who took DeChambeau yesterday, and they were out of it by about the 10th hole.
Yeah, he couldn't figure out the greens, his short game. He was addicted to the bunker all weekend long. I mean, geez. And he goes out there on the media availability, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting the greens to be that fast. Really? At Augusta? That blew you away? Tell me more, Bryson. Number 2.
Number 2.
In the NBA news, as this regular season came to a close, head coach Mike Budenholzer was fired from the Phoenix Suns. The Suns say, quote, a change was needed in response to the firing. How big of a disgrace are the Phoenix Suns?
I mean, how many championship coaches can you run out of town? Are they going to go after another one? Mike Malone's not taking that job. He's not touching that job with a 10-foot pole.
2 and 3 years, to your point, on the championship coaches to get fired. It is a disgrace. The Suns are a disgrace, and they need to blow it up. According to their owner, they're not. They got all the pieces they need to win a championship, but they need to blow that thing up. They need to get what they can for Kevin Durant and company and start from the bottom up.
Yeah, if they're going to keep Booker around, fine.
He's under contract. Might as well.
You got to find a reason. If you could keep Durant, great. But Beal, ship him out of there. You got to allow yourself to get role players. You can't get role players outside of the draft, which you don't have any of your picks, and you can't sign anybody in free agency because you're below both aprons.
Why didn't that thing work? Role players?
They don't have any role players.
That's it.
They can't sign anybody because they got 3 guys on max contracts. It's impossible. You're handcuffed to yourself, and the new CBA doesn't allow you to operate within the luxury tax as it used to. Makes it harder and harder to put together a roster. And also, for some reason, there hasn't been a coach that has been able to connect with them. Even though Vogel did a halfway decent job. Just because he lost in the first round. See ya. Goodbye. Number 3.
Number 3.
The NBA playoffs are set, and my favorite thing in sports, the play-in tournament. It begins tomorrow, continues Wednesday. Are any of these teams that aren't officially in the playoffs yet able to make a deep playoff run?
You feel bad because this is not the moment where you need the play-in. The play-in is look at the Eastern Conference. That's why you need the play-in. Because you got a couple teams there right in the mix. But on the Western Conference, you get 2 teams who put together very good seasons in a very tricky conference, and they're getting burned because of it in Golden State and Memphis. And I hate Memphis, but Memphis they won my over, but they haven't put together. They put together a good season, and they're getting burned by the play-in. This is where you don't need it. The Western Conference is an example of why certain years you do not need to do this play-in nonsense.
There's one team that could go on a run, and it's Golden State. I don't think Memphis can go on a run. The Kings, no. Dallas, no. And as far as on the Eastern side, 7 through 10 don't even belong in the playoffs, as far as I'm concerned, with the Magic, the Hawks, the Bulls, and the Heat. I know back in the day, Kyle, we went 1 through 8, and we didn't have the play-in tournament. I stand by what I said. Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat all deserve not to be in postseason basketball. The only correct answer here is the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Number 4?
Number 4.
Tennessee football. The Vols. They decided to move on from their quarterback, a former 5-star and starter for Tennessee last year who led the Vols to the college football playoff. Nico wanted $4 million in NIL, and Tennessee was just going to give him roughly $2.4 million. Was this a good move by Tennessee to move on?
Yes, this is a big win for college athletics. Let's think about this for a second. If they got strong-armed successfully, how many more players would follow suit? How many more agents that agent that Nico's Yamaleva's agent probably represents, all those players and all the guys who he talks to, all these NIL guys know each other. How many guys are going to start holding out when there's no trades? It's not even professional sports. When Trent Williams holds out, he said, trade me or sign me. One or the other. Brandon Ayuk, trade me or extend me. This is not that. It's either trade me or I'm going to leave. Voluntarily. It's an impossible thing to manage. It was a big win for college sports to not let that happen. I don't care where he goes. He got the bad mojo attached to him for the rest of his time. He's a quitter. Goodbye. You want to try to strong-arm the university and try to bankrupt probably the other NIL funds for other programs within the school? See ya. Goodbye. Good riddance. We already had a contract. Set aside the NCAA. It's an impossible system. It always has been. Don't give the players more power. You don't need that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a great move by Tennessee. Nico, by the way, what? All because of he wanted $1.6 million more?
It's not like that's a small amount of money.
It's not, but at the same time, to Colin's point, you look like an idiot. Now, this isn't over yet, though, because Colin brought up the point, and I agree with him. It's a big win for college sports, but here's the issue. What happens if someone gives him the $4 million now? If someone gives him the $4 million, I think more college athletes are going to do this when this spring portal opens up.
How many college athletes? You can count on one hand how many college athletes are worth $4 million.
Why do we need a spring portal, by the way? Why is this a thing? That's my question. Why is this a thing?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So there's that factor into it as well, but we're not out of the woods yet. I still believe, and to your point, Colin, there's not a lot of players, but there are players who will look at Nico I and go, I'm better than that bum. Give me $4 million. We're not out of the woods yet, but fair play to Tennessee.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Katy Perry and Gayle King went to space today. They went for 11 minutes and came back down. They sang some songs. It was live streamed.
On what?
Called Blue Sky. That's the app. Similar piece of technology. Privately thing. It's not a NASA thing, but they did go to space.
Is it an Elon thing?
I think it's Elon's thing. But my question for you is, if given the opportunity, would you want to go to space?
Yeah.
I'm with Colin.
What is the success rate on those rockets going into orbit? I know going into space, like going to the ISS, is dangerous.
Blue Origin, that's the name of it.
Going into, to go visit the International Space Station is a little dangerous. You might be a little dicey there. But if you're going to go just to get into the zero gravity and come back at the edge of the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure those odds are pretty good, right?
By the way, Jeff Bezos owns Blue Origin.
The Pepsi to Elon's Coke.
Exactly.
I didn't even hear about this. I didn't realize she did this, huh? So she started singing songs at zero gravity?
Yeah, they're kind of playing around in space and the zero gravity marketing stuff, of course. She unveiled a tour set list in space.
I'm in, dude. I'm a huge Star Trek and Star Wars fan. I'm ready. Whenever they want to take me up and I go to planets and you guys never see me again, I'm ready to go.
Well, we're not talking about
I'm ready
traveling to other planets.
I'm ready to go.
Going to experience zero gravity. It's like you can't say no if you ever ask.
Are there zero gravity machines on planet Earth or no? Is that just like a fabricated thing on a cartoon?
Yeah, no.
Hey,
I want to feel that.
Christian, the other humans that are in the other billion star systems out there that are hearing this, that have figured out space travel, I'm ready to go. Beam me up. I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
I feel like in the future we're going to retire out of this planet. Right now, we've retired to Palm Beach County. You've retired to Scottsdale. You retire to somewhere warm. Now we're going to retire somewhere off the planet.
I'm going to retire to Naboo. I'm going to retire to Naboo. It is a planet in the Intergalactic Republic in Star Wars.
Let's move on.
It's where Padme Amidala is from, and where Anakin and Padme got married. I'm ready to go and retire to.
It's Lake Como. That's where it is. It's Lake Como, Italy. That's where you're
ready to go.
That's where you're thinking.
I'm ready to go to Naboo. Okay, take me up.
Is that the forest one?
No, that's
like on the water, right?
That's Endor. That's Endor.
So you're talking about the one on the water, on the lake?
Yes, but
that's Lake Como, Italy, Mike.
But Theed, like the city of Theed and Naboo, is a huge.
Oh God. It's
where
Lake Como. Go retire at Lake Como, and then you can imagine you're in Naboo.
At the end of number 1, Phantom Menace, when they do the walk with the peace and the whole thing, that's Theed. Those are the streets of Theed.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Colin, that's your fault. I don't know why you got into this. What is that? Was where it was shot?
You guys act like me bringing up Star Wars is DEFCON 5. Like, there are plenty of Star Wars fans out there, boys.
But the thing is, it won't compute with anyone in the room, so it's like you're speaking Japanese.
I could do a little bit of that with
we're not
a little
gonna do
bit
that.
of
We're going to go to
anime
timeout. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to Steve Politzino, the Good Car Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. On the flip side, stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi. This is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE, a stunning blend of luxury, performance, and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $759 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $759 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You had the Masters yesterday, one of the great final rounds, one of the great last 2 days we have seen in that tournament in quite some time. It got its best rating in golf since 2018. That's yesterday. It averaged around 12 million-ish, a little more. Peaked at around 19 million people tuned in yesterday to the CBS and Paramount Plus broadcast. That's above Tiger in 2019 at the Masters, too. So a lot of people tuned in worldwide. As we roll on here on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Go get started on Hard Rock Bet. You got 2 games remaining in the NHL regular season. You got the NBA kicking things off here on Saturday in the actual playoffs. You get the play-ins throughout the week. You're going to be watching this stuff anyway. It's about to get really interesting and dramatic. You might as well sprinkle a little action on it and go get some Hard Rock Bet action in place. Parlay, bet as little as $1 up to 20 legs. Increase your odds. Hard Rock's the best because it caters to 2 types of players. It caters to the brand new player that's looking to kind of get their feet wet, understand really what a sportsbook's all about, or the experienced player that wants to put together a really complicated parlay. Check out the Discover page. Tag along with other people's parlays like that. It's that easy, that quick, that fun over on Hard Rock Bet. If you try now, get it $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. That bet can be an over, a prop, parlay, whatever you like to bet. Any game you choose, win that first one to get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT. Welcoming in a friend of program, Mr. Steve Politziner, the Good Karma Band's president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, presented by Duffy's Sports Grill. Steve, hello. What's going on?
Gents, doing great. How are you?
Lovely. Steve, give us a little bit of a reaction. You're a big golf guy. To Rory yesterday at the Masters. The whole world was tuning in. It was an all-time sports moment, accomplishing the Grand Slam, 6th golfer ever, second in the last 50 years. A dramatic back-and-forth collapse, return round from Rory McIlroy. Give us your reaction to what you saw unfold yesterday at Augusta.
Well, yeah, the obvious guys, the emotions of the up and down, when you just announced the rating. I think the reason ratings like something like that yesterday were stronger, 2 main things. One, last day of the NBA regular season, but there wasn't really a lot of juice to it. And then also alerts now. I think people find out what's going on more. Like, you're made aware easier because of alerts and social media. It can drive you and bounce you back. To broadcast yesterday, I thought was, a great example of it. But my thing's is this. Love Rory, thrilled for him. He is especially with Tiger being less and less visible, Rory's really like the de facto ambassador to everything golf, whether it's because he's been on some of the player committees, whether it's he's the most accomplished current player, whether it's because he's willing to say stuff and has a lot more sort of personality than Scotty Scheffler. He's involved in TGL. He's been outspoken against Liv. He's been in the negotiations. Like, he is so visible. But one thing I don't think that many people were thinking about was this Grand Slam situation for Rory. I don't think it was, will he ever win the career Grand Slam? I think it was just, will Rory win another major? It pivoted when it became that major was possibly the Masters. But I actually think there's people who probably didn't realize that he hadn't won the Masters because he's been so accomplished and was so accomplished early in his career. So my thing on this is, did he get the monkey off his back? I don't think most people knew there was this monkey on his back until this week when obviously it became so much of the talk.
Steve, what did you make of him just winning the Grand Slam in general, second player to do it in the last 50 years?
It puts him where he should be. He came in going all the way back. This is his 17th Masters. He's 35. He's not even old.
Right.
I mean, this guy has been around a long time, and he was one of the first from sort of the new era of where just that next level of player. And who were the guys? Who were his contemporaries? In there was that peak on who's obviously he was playing with, when Tiger was at his best in the back end of Phil. And then he also had DJ. He also had Jason Day. He also had Ricky Fowler. He's really outlasted all of them in terms of still being competitive. The next group, Scheffler, that was years later, 10, 12 years later.
Totally.
So his lasting power on this has been incredible. And like I said, he's also put himself in the throes by being really willing to be outspoken and be a steward of the overall game off the course that no doubt has added to, I think, a lot of strain, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. Remember, this is a guy who, when the Olympics come up, can't play in the Olympics because he gets torn in the Northern Ireland, debate and saga. Like, there's always something that Rory's thrown in the middle of, and I'm just thrilled to see someone like him who has been willing to take it on, who doesn't hide from the media, to be able to overcome something that has been eating him alive. Will I ever win another major, and that major being the Masters? Pretty amazing.
Well, Rory always has that sort of blackball, the smidge, the patch on his legacy for not necessarily getting a major in the last 11 years. And I think that what he accomplished yesterday, it sort of established him as the golfer of his generation. You mentioned that generation, that second stage, post-Tiger, post-Mickelson. He is that golfer. Getting that Grand Slam established him firmly as above the rest. And I think in dramatic fashion at that as well, because you're right. It was the U.S. Open. It was the Open. It was this and that and the other. It didn't necessarily become historic until all of a sudden your opportunity was at Augusta. And everything was sort of pointing in the right direction at the right time. He was playing his best golf at the right time. The stars sort of aligned for him. And you saw throughout that final round, the highs and the lows. It was two sides of the same coin of, can Rory eventually do this, or is he going to get in his own way? Yesterday was more about him versus him, comparatively to him versus Justin Rose, him versus DeChambeau. Yeah, you felt that at the bit in the early part, but at the 13 on towards the playoff, it was more about, can Rory stay out of his own way? Can Rory kind of get this done? That was more of my theme. And I don't know the last time we saw a Masters like that where it was really just a one-man show and it was a competition at that, because you had A side of Rory and B side of Rory kind of going head-to-head.
Yeah, you're right. And to that point, it isn't like DeChambeau was pressing him that was causing Rory to crumble. It wasn't like this other thing just happened that Rory could hear and that caused him to crumble. You're right. It was very much him versus him. It was him versus his legacy. It was him versus any demons. And whether you like him, you hate him. I don't know why you would hate him, but if you're not, let's say, the biggest fan, you don't even want to win by him losing and missing there, right? I like Justin Rose. I was not rooting for Justin Rose to make that birdie putt in the first playoff hole. I wasn't. I did not want to see that. I wanted to see Rory have a shot and it not be just gutted from him. And it was awesome. And that second shot that Rory hit on the playoff hole, knowing all he had been through,
absolutely,
to be there, was, to me, a shot of a lifetime. That was the shot of the lifetime.
Steve, you've been to the Masters. You've been watching the Masters for years. Where does this rank up as the best Masters Sunday you've watched?
It's got to be right up there. I mean, it has got to be right up there. Because, Scheffler, usually when the putt taps in to win the Masters, it's already over, and you're already more just thinking about the person's legacy.
Right.
This was the last 2 hours. We all lived an emotional up and down. Usually it's just, all right, hang it on, let's get there. And I don't mean in a bad way, but it's like, all right, we know what the script is. Let's, Nance will blow us away with all of his, incredible setting, and then we'll get to the Butler cabin. You just did not know what was going to happen.
Especially after that putt on 18. Yeah, I thought Rose was good there. He's like, listen, you're a part of this situation. He's like, I'm still playing great golf. That's all I could thank myself for. My time will come. It was sort of like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's a major champ, but he's not a Masters champ. So for Rose, too, this is a guy who, too, has his own. He's not the top 5 of this era, but he's in the top 15 of this era and has had his own, accomplishments and his own ups and downs.
Now, you mentioned shot of the lifetime. That shot to match Rose, especially because Rose had that excellent tee shot on the first playoff hole. He had the great second shot. All of a sudden, all the pressure's on Rory. That was the only time. Maybe a little bit in the early part with DeChambeau, and then Rory sort of pulled ahead towards the end of the front nine. But that was the only time where it was really head-to-head. Rory sort of had to go shot for shot and had to match something. Less about going against himself and more about going against Rose there. And he did. And that second shot on the first playoff hole was absolutely outstanding. And another one I want to bring up, too, was after he collapsed on 13 and 14, that second shot on 15 to put him in position to get an eagle putt. I know he still got a birdie on the hole, but that draw to get onto the green was unbelievable. And then he did it again on his second shot in 17. He had 3 shots there in the last 4 holes he played that were generational shots that put him in position to really close it. It was a historic moment for sports.
His power is really underrated because, he's not Tiger, he's not DeChambeau off the tee. His power, he's hitting 7 irons from 205.
Yeah, his iron work was great.
Unbelievable what he can do.
Steve, monkey out the back moment. You might not agree that this is sort of that moment for you, and I escape the jinx, escape the dark cloud. But we've been talking about it all show. Give us a few of yours that really come to mind in terms of that team, player, city even. We mentioned the Cubs earlier against the Indians. The Indians at the time come back from 3-1. What are yours that really pop to mind as sort of that like historic moment where somebody returns to glory, re-enters glory, escapes that bad jinx? What would that be to you?
I would think, well, all the obvious ones, Red Sox and Mickelson, and but I was thinking more current monkeys, like on the back, like who right now? What's the next thing up?
Yeah,
who that has it? Like, is it Josh Allen?
Yeah, it's probably Buffalo and Josh Allen, but it's more about Buffalo as a franchise has that more than Allen does.
Yeah, Buffalo, right, has got to be there. Then I was thinking about current golfers. Who has that great player that hasn't won a major? And outside of, it's a reach, like Tommy Fleetwood. When we saw Fleetwood congratulating Rory yesterday, I was said right there, like, maybe is he the best player to not have a major right now? There's Ricky, but, Ricky's had his ups and downs.
Right.
More on the up now. But really, there isn't that amazing. There aren't a ton of those guys right now.
Yeah, big story is that if you're looking for that next story, a lot of it is the LIV Golf and how they're going to eventually emerge with the PGA, or the LIV Golf and how the LIV golfers and how they continue to perform at majors. They're usually ups and downs, especially at Augusta. So I think that's probably your next story. But from an individual standpoint, now it gets interesting because you don't have that one glaring hole in somebody's legacy that we're trying to define.
Yeah, in the NBA, I think it's James Harden. I don't
really.
Everybody else has won. Everybody else has won.
You think Harden?
Harden.
Well, think about it. Kawhi's won. Curry's won. LeBron's won. Tatum's won.
Giannis has
won. Giannis has won. Who's left?
Yeah, I guess he's one of the final all-time greats.
Durant has won.
If you count the Golden State ones. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
it's Chris Paul and James Harden.
Yeah. No, Steve, quickly, that leads me to my question to you about what theme are you following for the NBA playoffs? And hear me out on this, Steve. For years, we've had players chasing immortality. LeBron, Steph Curry, and company. For years, you had teams, they got to win now or they're going to break up. They better win this year. If they don't win this year, I don't see any player or team like that this year in the NBA playoffs.
No, I don't either. I'm just real down on these late season firings. Real down on it. Like, you tell me, you just explain to me how Memphis or Minnesota or Denver are going to be better off in the playoffs. I know whatever goes on behind the scenes. Who does that there and then?
Completely agree.
I don't see how they're going to be better off. And then, for me, the theme on the NBA playoffs is this the coronation of the next era? Is this can the Pistons win a series? Rockets and Thunder, will they live up to what they did in the regular season? Is this the coronation of the next era and the next stars that we'll be ushering in? We're not talking about the best players never to win on those teams yet, but Cade Cunningham is emerging as one of those great players. SGA as one of those great players. Now, for OKC, they seem to almost not have the respect yet. So can they make it to the conference champions? Can they run through the Western Conference? Can they make it to the finals to validate the kind of season that they had? Cleveland, too. Cleveland again, maybe because they have Mitchell, a more veteran player, but another team that I feel like everyone's like, All right, let's see you do it in the playoffs.
If there's a team that has a monkey on their back, it's definitely the Knicks. I don't think that, but the thing is, the Knicks aren't viewed as necessarily title contenders at the moment because I think it's Boston, Cleveland, and the rest. But if there's a team, a franchise that is sort of itching for that next one, it's got to be New York.
It is probably because of how long it's been, probably because they broke up, a team that made a run last year, and the expectations with Towns, and that the Cavs just finished, so much better than they did. And that the Knicks haven't been able to put that sustained, run together. The next question will be, if the Knicks don't get out of the first round, maybe the second, is there a coaching change there?
I would. I would. If that Boston series second round goes wrong and you lose in 5, you keep them to 7, you have a conversation. Or keep it to 6, you have a conversation.
Especially with what's out there now.
Yeah. If you lose in 5, you call Jay Wright and you call Mike Malone before the plane lands.
Steve, we're down on Tibbs as a show. Totally.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys are, and I'm down on the way Tibbs, overuses his guys. But yeah, now there's some real coaches out there that you're going to have to think about who are available.
Indeed. Steve, tell us what's going on with Duffy's really quick.
Duffy's, one place says they never had the monkey on their back. Everyone always knew from the beginning that Duffy's is the spot because every year they're voted the best sports grill and best for award-winning burgers and wings, the weekday lunch deals, the double play starting at just $7.99, and of course the famous 2-for-1 drinks all day. And the rewards get even greater when you sign up at Duffy'sMVP.com. 80 TVs at each Duffy's location. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com. At Duffy's, our game is always on.
Steve, we appreciate it as always. Looking forward to talking again next week, all right?
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Steve Politzino, the Good Karma Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer on ESPN 106.3. On the flip side of things, we'll do a little temperature check with John C. Cassidy, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Stick around for it as we close out a Monday edition of the program on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Well, we got a little Masters coverage. We got the NBA playoffs up ahead, play-in this week, and the first round starting on Saturday. I think it's time for us to start to think about who's hot, who's not. We'll do that in a second. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. If you missed any of the program, you want to listen back, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Here from 4 to 6, we'll be in Dodgertown up in Vero Beach for Jackie Robinson Day tomorrow. So that should be a grand old time because I have not been up there. I'm excited to see how the Dodgers reinvigorated Vero Beach, but we'll do that tomorrow. We'll be live from 4 to 6. On site. I think theoretically speaking, we'll be live from there as well. So we got 4 hours of local programming from Dodgertown. But it's time for us to determine who's hot, who's not, who has kept their cool under pressure, and let's do our Keep Your Cool temperature check of the week, presented by John C. Cassidy, AC and Plumbing.
Keep your cool. This is the temperature check.
Mostly sunny, highs in the lower 80s.
Presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960.
Plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our...
Keeping homes cool and comfortable. John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. They've been proudly serving Palm Beach County since 1960. Go visit them, CassidyAC.com today, as it's starting to get hot here in South Florida. It's only going to ramp up before the humidity, the sticky season comes about here. But it's time for us to go around the room a little bit. Myself, Mike, and Christian, and we'll determine who has kept their cool under some immense pressure in the heat of the moment. There's an obvious one. I'll steal it. Rory McIlroy is going to be the clear leader in the clubhouse. Talk about somebody who it's two sides. I've been saying all show, two sides of the same coin. He's had moments where he was crumbling under the pressure in the heat of the moment. And there was moments where he was ice cold. He was as cool, as calm and collected as you could possibly be, especially on that 18th playoff hole. Give me Rory McIlroy's mine. Mike?
I'm going to go with Tennessee and deciding to move on from Nico. Now, I understand that Nico I's probably going to get close to that $4 million he wanted from the University of Tennessee.
I don't know if he will.
But Colin, fair play to Tennessee for saying no. We agreed on this. We're not going to give you more money. So I'm going to go with Tennessee for telling Nico I to kind of go kick rocks after he asked for some more money after they had a deal in place and skipped out on spring practice.
I'm going back to Augusta, and I'm not going to go to a golfer who you might think. The guy who finished dead freaking last, Nick Dunlap, kept his cool because he shot a 90. 18 over on his Thursday round. And what did he do? What do most golfers do when something like that, pretty humiliating to be honest, and pretty embarrassing performance they do? They withdraw. They got an achy back. Oh, my wrist hurts. My elbow hurts. And they don't show up on Friday, and they use health as a reason. He didn't. He showed up on Friday and shot 1 under par. Nick Dunlap, he kept his cool because he easily could have waved the white flag and said, you know what, we'll try again next year.
Yeah, I got 2 here. Echevarria, he shot like an 84 yesterday after having 3 pretty good rounds. He was right in the thick of things.
He won the par 3 contest.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it here. He had a double bogey and he had triple bogeyed 18, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other bogeys in his final round over at the Masters in Augusta. But I'm going to take one that's a little bit more topical, and it's Ludwig Oberg.
Oh, man.
Oberg.
You want to get in the clubhouse. Get me out of here.
What a weird day he had, because he was rock solid through the front 9, and he had a very shaky up and down weekend, and then all of a sudden on Friday he had like 3 straight birdies, and then all of a sudden when he enters and gets into the latter part of his round, where he's right in the thick of the 4th, 5th, this is millions of dollars we're talking about. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars in prize winnings that we're getting. And on 17, he bogeys, and on 18, he triple bogeys. And it cost him $500,000. And I know maybe to him, these guys are very rich men to begin with. But, I mean, to close out your final round at the Masters with that, got to leave a bad taste in your mouth. There's somebody for me who has not kept their cool under the immense pressure and heat. Ludwig Oberg.
He entered the day 30-1 to win the Masters.
Right.
And at a certain point, right when he walked onto the tee box on 16, before he just kind of wet his pants, he was 3-1. It was Rory and then him, and then Justin Rose. And then he just completely, like Rizzo likes to say, capitulated.
My guys, I'm going to go outside of golf. You guys know I love my Buckeye football. Did you see the Vice President of the United States drop the championship trophy that the Buckeyes won?
I saw the tape. I don't know if he holds all of the blame.
Explain, because I saw the tape.
Because he was holding the base of the College Football Playoff National Championship, and someone to his right tried to take it from him or transition it. And they only grabbed the top, and they both let go and hit the ground.
I'm going to say Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, he went to Ohio State. I was telling our program director, Brian Rowitz, if there's anyone that's allowed to drop it, it's the Vice President of the United States that has the degree from Ohio State. So fair play to him on that. And folks, politics, aside, gosh, brother, hang on to the trophy, please. You're a fellow Buckeye, for God's sakes. Figure it out. The White House. It was Ohio.
They had their White House visit?
Yeah, it was Ohio State's day to visit the White House after winning the championship, and J.D. Vance dropped the darn trophy.
Happened live on TV.
Was it during his photo ceremony or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Where they do the speech and then the whole team's behind them, like they do for every champion.
Wow, so everybody was watching?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow,
and
everybody
JD.
clenches their fist.
And the Buckeye, guys, it's not like, from Ohio, went to Ohio State, and he dropped it.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Let's make a couple picks here. Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run. 22 consecutive wins.
And feed the cooler.
Everything you touch turns to mush. People go to the racetrack and the teller will give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Hey, quick.
All right, let's go streaking. Presented by Hard Rock Bet. We're going to make one pick and try to stack together a couple wins here. I am going to start on the MLB side of things. And somebody who I've been hot on, and I like the way they've been playing. They've had a tough schedule, Chicago Cubs. They're playing at San Diego tonight, 9:40. First pitch. I'm going to take them to win outright, actually. Plus 130 to win outright. I like it. Give me Chicago Cubs.
I'm going to go with the Astros at St. Louis. Framber Valdez on the bump. Now, Sonny Gray's on the bump for the Cardinals. Battle of the Aces. I'm going to go Astros minus 110 in St. Louis tonight with Valdez on the bump.
I'm on a 4-game heater, boys. I've got our biggest streak so far. Rizzo, you're no longer on the losing streak.
Oh, thank God.
I am the one to tail. Take the Yankees, Royals over 8.5 runs. Take that over. Cookie Carrasco is going to give up 4 runs by himself. That gets you halfway there.
Kyle, the best bet in baseball right now is that over in Sacramento.
Closing out here. Appreciate everybody tuning in on Russo and Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3.
This is ESPN 106.3's Mike Rizzo, and recently I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Curtis J. Keppert. Dr. Keppert is an orthopedic surgeon who specializes with injuries in the shoulder, elbow, and knee. And Dr. Keppert loves getting an athlete back to 100% and where they need to be.
Just their desire